The air outside Sanderstill was hot and humid. It felt like I was submerged in water, and it didn't really help the sweating that we were sitting next to a campfire. I don't remember whose idea it was to make one, but if it was me, then at least we're sticking with the Xander isn't smart theme that will surely continue. We were on a stakeout of sorts and taking a break. We knew the murderer was still around, and we wanted to make sure they didn't strike again. Unfortunately, none of us knew anything about the murderer, barely even knew their shoe size. So, we stopped to eat, because you can't catch a dangerous criminal on an empty stomach.
Once again, you really put all the other chefs to shame. How you managed to make a damn squirrel on a campfire taste like a pear in a gourmet kitchen?
Agreed. If Xander never lifts a finger in a fight, simply his cooking skills alone will justify his presence in the mission.
Mine's burnt.
You want me to get you another one?
No. It's fine like this.
You say so.
So, I know I already asked, but I'm gonna need a full report of what each of you found.
Report, squat.
Report. Ditto.
Report. Oh! There was a cute little rabbit. He came up to me and he said hello and... Oh. The murderer. Nothing to report.
We may have to change our approach. We're gonna have to start individually interviewing people before too long.
Once again, let me handle this. I know my way around talkative and bored people.
I suppose that's all well and good, but we need to have a different discussion. One we've been putting off in lieu of this new murder development. We need to discuss how we're going to get to Elorium.
Elorium?
My home. The City of Dragons.
If we can't solve this murder soon, we'll have to be on our way. I know that's our main goal. We haven't forgotten.
Exactly. And I've already discovered how we'll get there. We'll speak to an old friend of mine, Dosvelgard. He's sort of the city's guardian to make sure no humans find their way up. Speaking to him will grant us access. If he doesn't burn us alive, that is.
You think he would?
We're a group of humans. At least I look like one. He may panic and fire away.
Damn, that suck.
For you, yes. But with my magic, I'd survive. But then you'd die and I'd have no one to escort me. So I suggest you let me do the talking.
Of course, Princess. We'll keep quiet while you make sure he doesn't kill us.
There is one other thing we need to discuss. During this journey, we will undoubtedly come across monsters and challenges that none of you have faced before. Some might be too difficult to handle at your current level.
What a polite way to insult us.
I called you talentless. You should be used to this by now.
However, there is a way around this. The Dragon Brand.
I see. So, you really think things are that dire that you'd use that?
Of course I do. This is important. But if you die before the mission is done, then I could be stuck this way forever.
Before I ask the obvious question, I'm gonna ask a different one. Why have you stopped asking to be killed? Wouldn't you resurrect?
No. In this human body, my soul has morphed to a degree. Reincarnation, at least in the dragon sense, is not possible in this body. That's why dying in this form wouldn't end good for me.
So, I guess I'll ask, what is this dragon brand?
It's a spell that dragons cast on humans to enhance their powers. It's a massive responsibility, as a dragon can only have one human dragon branded. There are several drawbacks to doing so many dragons don't do it. But I believe that it might be necessary.
And you believe this is best? I don't have to remind you of the negative effects it takes on the dragon.
You're right, you don't. I don't make this decision lightly. But I have decided that I'm going to be dragon branding you.
Me? Oh no, I'm flattered, but
Of course not you! No offense. But I'd rather have someone I can rely on. Someone who's been there and shown that they have it in them to carry my blessing. Someone I believe in.
Iron turned to me and straightened up. I gulped.
Alexander. Will you give me another squirrel egg? I'm famished.
I blinked. I sighed and began breaking off a leg of the leftover squirrel and handed it to her.
That's better. Now then, Edith, I'm going to be dragon branding you.
What an annoying way to go about saying that. I mean, really. The way she looked at me all serious, I thought she was gonna say me. I wanted to smack her upside the head, rip at her horns or something. But instead, I just sat there and grumbled.
Me? Are you sure about this?
I am. You're the most reliable of this bunch, and I believe that you would make the most out of the brand. It will make you feel stronger than you could ever dream.
Being stronger would be pretty cool. But what are these side effects?
Don't worry about them for now. During the ceremony, we'll discuss it then. It won't be for a while anyway. I'm going to have to gather the necessary ingredients in Alorium. Until then, rest your mind on the matter.
I wish I could say I wasn't offended, but I was. I've been trying from the beginning to make sure I could do everything I could to help, but once again, Edith was chosen over me, and I knew Edith deserved it, but...
You know, it just occurred to me that we don't really know a lot about each other. We've been traveling for some time, and we're still, in a sense, strangers? Where do you all come from? What's your story? And please don't make it boring. I'm not ready to fall asleep for the night.
very well. Since you all twisted my arm, I'll go first if you're all so interested.
None of us even...
Yes. It all started when I was born.
Oh, for God's sake.
I grew up in Lothlorien. Never knew my father. He left before I was born. My mother raised me alone. She was a witch.
Damn, she was kind of a bitch, huh?
No, you idiot. I'm a wizard. She was a literal witch. She casted spells and brewed potions. Probably flew around on a broomstick, though I never actually saw that, so I can't confirm, but it would make sense. Anyway, after she died, I took up sword fighting as a means to defend myself, and to distract myself from the trauma. I met my wife, got married, that's it.
You have a wife?
Had.
Oh, Phineas,
Don't fall for it, she left him.
You are literally the worst.
What happened after that?
Nothing. That's about it.
Oh, come on. There's gotta be more to it.
Phineas stoked the fire a bit with a stick, pushing the wood around. The reflection of the ember in his eyes reminded me of my dad, and it wasn't a good memory.
Nothing happened.
Don't make him talk if he doesn't want to. Phineas looked at me somberly, then back at the flame.
We had a son, Terrence. He was a happy little boy. I wasn't home very much, but when I was, he was very playful. I still remember it. The feeling of coming home, only to open the door and hear him say, "Daddy's home," and run up and hug my leg. It made me not want to leave, but I had to. When I was home, we would play a game, hero and villain. My son was always the hero, and I was happy to play the villain. You'll never guess what my name was. I suppose that's why I still call myself Phineas the Evil, because that's what my son called me. Over time, he grew sick. My wife cared for him the best she could, but I was away. Then one day, I came home. My wife was alone, sitting in the house, no lights on, way she looked at me. Such pain. Such contempt. She told me he had died in his sleep.
No one said a word for a while. The silence carried in the air. The crickets and crackling of fire filled the void.
She left after that. Didn't want to see me ever again. Blamed my absence for his death. In a way, she's right. But that was a long time ago. That was 10 years ago, I think. After that, I took up being a mage, and I have become Phineas, the Evil.
I'm really sorry. I had no idea. I don't think any of us did.
It's all right. The past is the past, and the mistakes you make in it stay there. I do what I do now for Terrence. I was the villain when he was alive, so why shouldn't I be one now? I'm happier this way. Believe me. All right, who's next? Preferably something with slaying monsters.
Oh, I'd like to hear Edith's story. If I'm going to be branding you, I'd like to know more about the human that I'm doing it to.
Edith glanced at me, almost asking for what to do. I shrugged at her, and she scoffed with a smile.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Xander. I was born and raised in the city of Vespera. Mom, dad, brother. I was the second kid, so I was sort of treated like the, oh, it's okay, you don't have to make it big, kid. They never expected anything of me, and it kind of always annoyed me, I guess. My mom was and still is an instructor at Vespera University. She teaches other languages. My dad worked as a blacksmith until he goofed and hammered his finger off. He retired and stayed home, letting us test his old weapons. I met Xander through my brother. After my brother left, Xander and I were kind of alone, so we started hanging out. We actually didn't like each other at first, but seeing how bad Xander had it, I asked him if he wanted to play. Then we started seeing each other every day. We went to school together, graduated in the same class, then joined the Knights.
Your brother. What happened to him?
Why?
I don't have any siblings. I wish I did, though. But I'm curious to know what it's like to have them.
You ain't missing much. Living in one's shadow? Probably not. Believe me, it's better the way you have it. You don't have anyone to be compared to. Edwin this, Edwin that. It was tiresome.
What was Edwin like?
You asking me or Xander? 'Cause we'll give you completely different answers. If you ask Xander, you'll hear he was the kindest, most gentle and loving boy you could ever meet, and the most talented child that's maybe ever existed. I agree with his latter statement, but the others? He didn't live with him. He didn't know him like I did. He was a slimeball, and was the goody two-shoes that wanted to be all sweet and successful with my parents so they'd forget about me.
I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it.
Sure, but you were his best friend. He gave you the same treatment, wanted everyone to think he was better than me.
Talented how? What was he allegedly so good at?
No allegedly about it. He was the most talented prodigy of sword fighting that existed in Vesperan history.
Really? Edith, can you confirm that?
No, not Vesperan history. World history. Edwin had no equal, and considering he knew how talented he was and jumped at the chance to work hard, harder than anyone around him, he likely still doesn't. And even though I'm still in Vespera, still with my parents, still caring for them and putting bread on the table for them, the only reason I've stopped being told how amazing Edwin is was because I left with you guys. But here we are, still talking about him.
Very well. We won't discuss your brother anymore. Anything else?
Not really. Went through the night ranks quickly, became a sergeant faster than anyone before me, here at the ripe age of 18. I doubt that record will be beaten anytime soon.
Interesting. No wonder why you want me captured so badly. That wretched captain of yours is poaching ignorant children to invoke his vaunted justice.
And you, Alexander? What of your past?
Looked at her for a few moments, remembering what my past consisted of. How do I talk about all that with people I don't even know? How do I even open my mouth about it? Stared at the embers of the fire. My mind wandered back to that fateful day. The warmth, hopelessness. Pass.
Come now. Phineas told us of his unfortunate past. Why not yours?
How sensitive of you. Pass.
Fine. Be a bore. Well then. I suppose that brings us to me. I am Princess Iron of Elorium. I was born about 20 years ago. And that's all.
Oh, come on. We have a princess in our midst, and I think I speak for all of us when I say I want to hear the whole story.
It's really not all that interesting, I assure you.
Do you really think any of us believe our story is that interesting? I certainly don't. My life has been one long bore with a few excitements in between. Everyone's life is like that. No one lives every single day on the edge, wondering when the next thrill is. Let's hear it, little princess.
She stared at the fire, much like I did, as if contemplating speaking. The bright flames danced in the reflection of her red eyes. Then she looked up into the distance.
My father bred me to succeed him. I was not given a choice in the matter. I was only born to be Queen of the Dragons, and for no other reason than that. I was always forced into these ridiculous meetings, irrelevant classes, and to become acquainted with every dragon that I could never hope to care about. I was forced into a life of royalty. It was humiliating. Being forced to lead a nation when, in reality, that isn't what I want. It's disheartening.
She was silent for a while. No one spoke. We all watched her somber expression. It was full of longing, of sorrow.
But that's my destiny. And I'm not one to defy fate. If it is my duty to ensure the safety and prosperity of my people, well, then I'm not one to deny the people their leader.
That's a noble path to follow. I'm sorry you had to go down it, Princess.
It's quite alright. I will miss this feeling of freedom that this new fallen has given, but I can't afford to tarry. I have to get back to normal and assist my father. Without me, my people will have no leader should my father pass.
And I thought I had it rough. I couldn't imagine living like that.
There were, of course, good things. Having anything I asked for, doing whatever I wanted, was nice. But the endless feeling of shallow admiration was daunting. Knowing that if I let these people down, they'd never let me know it simply because of my bloodline.
Sorry, Princess. That's hard.
I snapped a stick in half and threw it in the fire. Edith turned to me.
Yeah. Boo fucking who.
They all turned to me, their faces contorted in confusion. I rolled my eyes and got up, beginning to walk off.
Xander, come on.
My bad. I shouldn't have said anything.
Do you have something to say to me? Come on, speak up!
Nope. I'm gonna go for a walk.
See, this is exactly why I chose Edith for the brand. She is not a coward who runs away from their duty. First to kill me, now to even exchange words. Is there anything you don't run from?
I stopped and felt this hotness rise in my neck. My fists clenched when I didn't even tell them to. A sly, angry grin spread across my lips, and I turned around.
My sincerest apologies, Princess. I can't imagine the pain of getting everything handed to you on a silver platter. How awful things must have been for you.
Iron stood up, her scowl pointed on me.
You wouldn't have lasted a day in my shoes. You don't know what responsibility I had to take on before I even knew how to expand my wings. What responsibility did you have? Deciding which sauce to put with your noodles?
The responsibility of being the only one I could count on to stay alive. But I guess all that admiration went to your head, and you forgot that it's not a curse, it's a blessing. And you spit on it as if it were an insect you scraped off your shoe.
How dare you! I think highly of that responsibility. That isn't lost on me. And what would you know? What do you do besides hide in the shadows of your best friend?
There it is, my boiling point. My pride being nicked at like a blemish on your skin, and she hit it right dead in the center. I wanted to hold back, but, well...
Fuck you! What do you fucking know about me, huh? I saved your goddamn life, and the thanks I get is a stupid fucking journey I don't even want to be on! You think I wanted this? You feel bad because your daddy expects big things of you and gives you all the toys you want. Well, at least your dad is still alive. You feel the pressure because you don't think your citizens of your city love you enough? The citizens of mine don't even know I exist.
Gods, you don't know how good you have it! What I would give to have that anonymous life. How much I would revel in it. The idea that I could do whatever, whenever, and have no one tell me otherwise. The freedom that you possess is a treasure that no one can ever grant me. And yet you complain. Do you even know what you have?
Nothing! I have nothing! My mother was a stupid fucking prostitute who slept with my dad for a few coins and died cursing him while I popped out. And my dad was a half-crazy bastard who didn't even want me! What did you get for your 6th birthday, Iron? A cake? Some candles? Maybe a clown that juggled pins? You know what I got? I got the task of pulling my father's burnt corpse out of a forest with the rest of the knights that felt bad for me. My stupid fucking father. Burned to death. I was helpless. Still remember the smell. The smell of smoke. Burning flesh. And it's never left. Every time I see fire. Every time I smell it. Every time I smell it, I can take it back 12 years and remember it all. You embody everything I wanted, and you complain. You have endless admiration. I have invisibility. You complain people won't tell you what you're doing wrong no matter how many mistakes you make. Whereas if I saved the world, no one would even know my name. Your dad is overbearing. My dad's fucking dead. You breathe fire on a whim? I can barely look at it without remembering nothing but pain. You've been blessed from the moment you were born, and all you do is bitch and moan and whine. Fuck you, Iron!
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you for reminding me why I chose her. You do nothing but complain about your circumstances and blame the world around you for your shortcomings. But do you do anything about them? You tell people that you're a great sword fighter, but how much have you actually trained? You think that everything should be given to you, whereas others work for everything that they have. You think that I'm the complainer? You're just as bad. Do you know why you have nothing? It's because you are nothing!
Tears began to swell in my eyes. I smiled and nodded, turned away. I felt so humiliated and embarrassed. The anger, sadness I felt. It was too much. I walked away without another word.
No, come on, Alexander! Alexander, wait!
Stop. I'll go. I know how to take care of this.
Edith,
It's okay. I got this. Finish your food.
I'm an idiot.
You know, this squirrel, just delicious.
At least, I'm in good company.
I guess all that heat and humidity was due to the campfire, because when I walked away from the campsite, I found this beautiful silent cliffside that I peered over. It was a cool and crisp air. The gentle breeze seemed to wipe my tears away. I leaned on the dilapidated fence, its white paint chipped all over. I looked into the distance at the view. The full moon watched over the countryside, shining onto it faintly. The serenity of the view gave me perspective. Quite simply, I was wrong and Iron was right. I didn't know what it was like to be royalty, but to have your life decided for you was not something I had to worry about. That, well, I did blame the world around me for my circumstances. I kept waiting for someone to swoop in and save me, but it never came. She said all the right things. She read me like a book. I just wanted one big break, one big opportunity, and I would be set. Those opportunities only seem to come to others. To Edith, especially.
I knew you'd be in a place like this. You always like being high up.
Speak of the devil. I turned briefly to face her and acknowledged her presence. Then I turned back around and leaned on the fence. Edith hopped over it and sat on it next to me.
You know, what you said.
I know. Shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, well, she shouldn't have either.
Why not? She was right. About everything.
She was right about a few things, but she still had no right saying them. You were dealt a shit hand, the worst of anyone I know, but you're still alive. You're still with the Knights.
Yeah, not a knight, though.
God, so fucking what? Your work still matters. You still do your job. People still need you. Who cares if you don't get the glory? You make sure everyone else does. People know that.
I appreciate what you're doing, but it's okay. Just need to come to terms with the fact that I'll never be what I want to be.
She was wrong about one thing. You're not in my shadow.
No, that was the one thing she got spot on. You don't see it, because you're not the one in the shadow.
Oh, come on. You think I'm really that much better than you?
I have enough proof not to think that. I know it.
Bullshit. Bullshit and you know it.
No, Edith. No. You're absolutely amazing at everything you do. You name it, you can do it. You could do my job if you wanted, but you don't have to because there are far more important things with your name on it. The only thing Richter asks me to do is to go find you so you can do what he wants.
You think you're the only person that's lived in the shadow of another. You think I didn't do that with Edwin?
I do think that, which is why you should know how it feels. Edith opened her mouth to speak, but didn't. She closed it and looked ahead for a few moments. Her short hair blew gently in the cool breeze. She looked down and sighed.
I hate appearing weak, but it's you, so here goes.
Edith turned to face me, her eyes showing a serious demeanor, not an expression you often saw from her.
You are my strength.
What?
You heard me. You are my strength. You're the reason I try so hard. From day one, you have motivated me and been my biggest supporter. And I always knew you were jealous of me, but you never let me see it. You supported me, to my face and behind my back. Despite that jealousy, that envy, you had my back from day one. You never let it get to you. You never wanted my downfall. You never wanted me to fail. You only wanted me to succeed more and more. The only thing you wanted alongside that was for you to succeed as well. You know, I only joined the Knights because you wanted to as well. If you weren't with me, I would have never joined. It's not something I like talking about because I hate the idea that you might think of yourself as some pet. And I don't. You're my best friend, Xander. You have been, will be, and if you aren't in my life, then who really cares about me in the end? Richter cares about my spear. My family cares about me living up to Edwin's legacy. No one cares. But you do, and you always have. You are my strength, Xander. And wipe that look off your face. This ain't a love confession, you doofus. But this is me telling you that I wouldn't be who I am today if not for you. And I thank you for giving that strength to me.
Wow, I had no idea, dude. Sorry I didn't know this sooner.
I didn't want you to. And yes, I'm not blind. I am a better fighter than you. But you're a better cook than me. You're better at fooling people than me. You're a better scout than me. You're quicker than me, and your instincts of survival are better than mine. I need you at my side if I'm gonna succeed.
I looked at her for a moment. Couldn't help but smile. She smiled at me, too. You know, if she were into guys, maybe I'd... You know what, never mind. I leaned off the fence and turned back towards the camp. Well, we should get back before I keep you up too late. If I'm your keeper, I gotta keep my fighter in shape, huh? Edith grinned and gave a soft laugh, and walked next to me. On the way back, I saw Phineas setting up his bed in his tent. He didn't notice us. Iron was setting up her tent as well. We locked eyes for a few moments. As soon as she saw me, her lip quivered and her face saddened. She looked away from me and went inside her tent.
Give her some time. You guys really threw some fire back and forth.
Right. No problem. How much time could an immortal deity possibly need to cool down, right?